The call comes in at 3:04 every morning, from a number that was disconnected 11 years ago, and for the last 2 weeks I have been the only one who can hear it. I work the overnight shift at a county dispatch center, the small kind, 3 consoles and a coffee machine that has been broken since before I started. Overnights are mostly quiet. Drunk drivers, false alarms, the occasional heart attack. You learn the rhythm of a town by the calls it makes at night. On my 9th shift at exactly 3:04, my console lit up with an incoming 911, and the number that came up on my screen was flagged in red. Our system does that when a number has been decommissioned, disconnected, no longer assigned to any active line. It should not be able to call at all. But it was calling. I answered the way I am trained to. 911, what is your emergency? There was a sound on the line like wind moving through a house with all the windows open. And then a woman's voice, very calm, very tired, said, "He is in the house again. Can you send someone?" I asked for her address. She gave me one, slow and clear, a house on Murren Road out past the county line. I dispatched a unit. I stayed on the line the way you are supposed to, and I asked her to describe the man in the house, and she said the same as last time. And then the call ended. The deputy who went out to Murren Road radioed back 20 minutes later. There was no house at that address. There was a foundation, burned black, grown over with weeds. There had been a house there once, he said, but it burned down years ago. I looked it up when my shift ended. A house fire on Murren Road 11 years back. A woman had called 911 in the middle of the night to report an intruder. The recording is still in the county archive because it was part of the investigation. I listened to it. Her voice is the same voice. She reports a man in the house, calm and tired, and the dispatcher that night tells her a unit is on the way, and it was, but the fire started before the deputy arrived, and she never got out. The intruder was never found. They ruled it an electrical fault. I told my supervisor. He told me the disconnected number flag glitches sometimes, that old lines get briefly reassigned, that I was tired. He pulled the call log for that night to prove there was nothing there. And that is the part one cannot explain to him, the part that has kept me awake through every daylight hour since. There was no 3:04 call in the log. Not on his screen. The recording system has no audio for it. As far as the county is concerned, my phone never rang. But I have answered it now for 14 nights in a row. Same time, same voice, same tired report. He is in the house again. Can you send someone? And I have started to understand what is actually happening, because the call has been changing. Small things. At first she only described the man. Then she began describing the room she was hiding in, the pantry, the smell of smoke starting to come under the door. And 3 nights ago, for the first time, she stopped reporting the intruder altogether. 3 nights ago she said something else. She said, "You are the only one who answers anymore. Thank you for answering." And last night at 3:04, when I picked up and said 911, what is your emergency? There was a long pause, longer than usual, the wind moving through that open house. And then the same calm, tired voice, closer than it has ever been, right against the receiver, said my name. My real name, which is not on any badge, which the county does not use, which no caller could possibly know. She said my name, and then she said, "He is in your house now." I do not live on Murren Road. I live in an apartment on the other side of the county, 3rd floor, a building with a keypad and a locked lobby. But when I got home from my shift this morning, in the gray light before sunrise, the door to my apartment was standing open. I never leave it open. And on the counter in my kitchen, where I do not own a landline, where there has never been a phone, the wall jack that came with the apartment, the one I have never once used, was warm to the touch. My next shift is tonight. I will be at my console at 3:04. I have thought about not answering. But I keep coming back to the same thing, The thing that will make me pick up the phone even though every part of me is screaming not to. For 11 years that woman called and no one could hear her. Somebody finally can. And I think if I stop answering, I am not going to be the one making the call next. I think I already know whose number is going to come up on the screen. Flagged in red, disconnected, calling anyway. I checked, before I sat down to write this. My own cell number. I dialed it from a friend's phone just to hear it ring. It went straight to a message I have never recorded in a voice that was almost mine that said, "He is in the house again. Can you send someone?"